Now this is part two to a two-part monologue. This part is to the customer, the retail customer and the institutional customer alike. I hope you heard what we had to say to the financial professionals. If you haven't heard already, please go back and listen to that monologue, because it will make it a lot easier to tolerate what I'm about to say now, because I want to apologize ahead of time, because some of the things I'm going to tell you may be a little rough to take, but it's the truth. So I think it's something that needs to be said. I know many of you all are hurt, mad, upset, afraid, frustrated, annoyed, and generally pissed off at all the financial melee and mayhem that we've been experiencing over the recent years. The first thing I want to say is that I'm a financial professional myself. Probably one of the more extreme versions or breed of financial professional, if you will, extremely aggressive. And why do I say that? Why do I say I'm extreme? It's because I can afford to tell the raw truth and still say I'm in it for the money. I'm holding high ground. I'm the developer of the Supravantage, as you probably already know. And all the Wall Street guys are pretty much in it for the money. The only real difference between me and them is I realize in order for me to continue to make the big bucks, I have to prove to the customer I'm worth the big bucks. So I'm here to always prove that I'm worth the money. And that's the biggest difference. But to try to convince you that I'm a band leader or a Boy Scout, I'm not going to do that, because that'd be a waste of time. So let me get into what we really need to try to relay to everyone. Some of you all out there, many among you in the customer population, you're what I call self-inflictors. Meaning that your wounds are self-inflicted. Many of them are so easily avoidable. Very simple 1, 2, 3 problems that you find yourself falling into over and over again. And yet you want someone to, excuse me, hear your cry, come to your rescue, listen to you whine. And many times, the mistakes you make, you're going to lose your money anyway. Something was bound to catch up to you, because you just were doing things just that wayward. It's like that. It's possible. But then a lot of you, excuse me, you have some legitimate gripes. And you've been victimized by some scumbag financial professionals. And I'm talking real scum. So now we got two groups of people in the crybaby group. People that are self-inflictors and people that have really been hurt. So we have to do some sorting out. So there's got to be some clarity. We got to at least try. The self-inflictors are a problem in the marketplace, and so are the scumbags. They both are causing things to go wrong and to go bad for a lot of good people that would normally try to do good things. There's so much I can say about the mistakes that are being made on both sides of the aisles by the self-inflicting customer and the wayward rogue financial professional. That's something we can talk in detail another time, another place. I've touched on it in a couple of my other monologues. Avoiding the Ponzi. That's a monologue I gave. And I also addressed the Wall Street occupation forces. That was something else I touched on some topics there. But for the most part, it's a laundry list and rainbow of things that we can talk about that would contribute to the things that lead us to those two groups. But I want everybody to understand one harsh truth, that the ratio of winners to losers, there has to be a ratio of winners to losers. That rule cannot be violated. It can't be violated in the marketplace nor in society. This discussion, like everybody feels like someone is promising a slice of pizza to everybody. It's just not the way it works. There will be winners, there will be losers in every game, in society. It's just the way life is. So this story about it's going to be okay for everybody, that's just not truth. That's just what somebody wants to tell you because they want you to, like them or whatever they want to get out of you. But I'm holding high ground. I'm the developer of the Supravantage. I have ultimate dominion over the market, so I can afford to say things that might not be so easy to swallow, but it's the harsh truth. I can afford not to be politically correct because, again, I'm holding high ground. Everybody in the morning is going to need me when they have to face the Dow Jones, so have to deal with the bull, deal with the bear. They're going to need somebody to really be able to deliver the goods, and that's who we are, so we can talk. What I can say now is those that follow, proper instructions can perhaps avoid unnecessary pain and suffering and avoid many losses they would normally take on their own. I don't know where there's a whole lot of sound instruction coming from. From time to time I hear some for the professionals speaking pretty well about some of the advice they're giving. But most of the time it's things that I hear are extremely flawed, and I'm to the point now I just want to say that if the Supravantage hasn't given you the advice, or if it sounds like something that's a little wayward, try to stay on the path. What we give you is things you'll be able to take to heart, things you'll be able to really use. Sound doctrine, sound teaching is the cornerstone for any plan that you want to form. So I'm going to give you a few things that you may want to think about. One, homework. You all have to do homework. Friday night, stop going out sometimes or horsing around on the television. So many of you all would be better served studying some things you don't understand, writing down some questions so you can find somebody to help you get them answered. You need to put down the smartphones, get off the games, get off the videos, the video games. All the distractions need to really be put aside, and you really have to put your mind into this subject matter. All the distractions. Be forward-looking. Be scientific. Another thing, apply pressure to these financial professionals. Pressure them to do better, pressure them to build on their weaknesses, and I mean pressure them hard. And don't worry, it's fine, because no matter how much you pressure them, and no matter how hard you kick them around, the market will do far worse to them. I assure you. So it's okay. Beat them up good. I mean, make them work, make them sweat. Simply because whatever you do to them, again, the market will do far worse. So it's no amount of pressure you can apply that's inappropriate. The Supravantage is the only one for now that can say what is going too far as how much pressure you can put on your financial professional. I mean, maybe there might be some of you all out there that are going too far, but until we tell you you're going too far, go ahead and lay it on. Your mandate as a customer is to take the least riskiest route to your required returns. When I say required returns, I mean the returns that you need to satisfy your objectives. And if you find yourself needing to make some off-the-chart returns, that means you've made a lot of mistakes leading up to what put you where you are. And I'm trying to encourage you all not to try to seek these long-range, long-distance returns on an ongoing basis. Granted, the Supravantage is in the business of achieving off-the-chart returns. That is true. But to count on that, to expect that, and to need that in order to get you by, that's very risky, and I would strongly discourage that. It's a little foolish, actually. Your risk capital, risking things on the margin, that's sensible. But you have to remember, and the reason I'm mentioning this is the risk of the markets never disappear. We can never seem to learn that lesson. Markets crash. They crash continuously. So you have to prepare for the inevitable. The year 1796, there was a crash, upheaval, or whatever you want to call it. The year 1819, 1869, 1873, 1884, 1893, 1896. Excuse me. The year 1901, the year 1907, the big one, 1929. 1937 and 38, 1973. 1987, 1989, the year 2000, the year 2008, the flash crash in 2010, and more recently, August 2011. They say that was a crash. And reaching way back in the 1600s, there was a tulip frenzy, and that was a big crash that hit the fan. Markets crash. That's what they do. You have to prepare for that. There's always going to be a predator looming, an economic predator, a financial predator. And they have to be in place. They're distasteful, but they have to keep the numbers and the population of the wealthy in check. As we said before, there have to be losers. Everyone can't be rich. There was something else I alluded to in other monologues that I've given. So there's always going to be a Madoff. There's always going to be an Enron or MF Global or someone who's going to do something to hurt somebody. That's reality. You can't change that. The other reality is we must all save and invest. That's another reality that we cannot live down. We must all save and invest. Now it comes down, in my mind, to just a numbers game. An example, if we were able to take as little as 20, 30% of our portfolio on a percentage basis and invest it the way the Supravantage says you're supposed to invest and make the type of numbers you're supposed to make. Go to supravantage.net and there's elaborate discussion on those types of things, and our definition of success is much different than that of your traditional financial professional. Many things that they would want a pat on the back for would probably get you fired if you were working for me. Or I would think at the very least something is drastically wrong and you need some serious help. We're better. We're far out past that of what people are to expect. We make it a point to be better. So it's a matter of market exposure. You have to seek the performance, because if you can invest a small portion and a small percentage of your asset portfolio aggressively in a very large percentage in an ultra conservative position, then when the crash of 1929, 73, 87, 89, 2000, 2011, 2010, whatever, when it happens, you have a lot less on the table to be taken away. The probability of collateral damage is reduced substantially. So you must find the performers. There's no more of this, we don't go for the big returns, we're long-range planners, we're this, we're that. That doesn't cut it anymore, because when they have to put all your money in the market, that's taking on more risk than if, say, 30% or even 20% of your money's in the market, and maybe in the market only 9 to 10 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year, because you're doing really, really well. So you have to seek the performers now. You have to press them to perform, because if you don't, you're putting yourself at undue risk. Don't let any financial professional at this point tell you what can't be done. Just don't do it. Most of them don't have a pay grade that high. And very few of them, I doubt if any of them, are smarter than me. They're just not. And there's a lot of people out here that are a lot smarter than me. They're waking up to the fact that things that were once thought impossible in the market are now very, very possible and well within reach of those that are of the progressive, informed group. Only Supravantage is going to be the one to say how much pressure is too much pressure. And that's just where we have to make our stand right now. So now if you have less money in the market, or less money where things can really, really, really go wrong, there's less chance for being hurt so bad. It's very simple. And understand, everyone can't always win in the market. They just can't. But there will always be someone winning. It just doesn't have to always be everybody. It can't be everyone. It's always just a group of people. And if you can't take my advice, Mr. Customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you get hurt. And now you want to have everyone to hear your cry, hear your complaint, hear your gripe, hear your story. But you can't listen to things I'm telling you right here and now. Then you're a perfect example of the self-inflictor. You're the perfect example of what I'm talking about. And you have to understand, as I said, most of these Wall Street folks, they're out for themselves. Okay? I'm just here to make sure I can justify the money I earn, but I'm still here to make a dollar as well. That's true. But I know I have to do a good job in order to keep making a dollar. I've been on Wall Street for years. They have no rule that says how much money you're supposed to make for the customer. Every time I went somewhere, all they told me was how much money I had to make for the firm. Never mind what the customer makes. It's just about the firm. That's how it goes. Okay? Now, it's possible that I can make a lot of commissions or fees or whatever I do. The customer is losing money hand over fist, but as long as I keep them quiet and keep them from screaming too loud to the regulators, conceivably I can keep my job. And as long as they can, and if the regulators do come, even if the paperwork is okay and we can weasel out or whatever took place why you lost so much money, because it just so happens that the law and everything was disclosed properly, but you still got ran over, they'll keep the guy on and they'll defend him over and over again as long as he's bringing money in for the firm. Customers may be losing money. He may not even have the same customers he started with. They all left and he had to get a whole new group of people to burn up. That's the way it is. So when I'm telling you how it is, and then you don't want to take my advice, and you're going to let that same person I'm talking to you about talk you in a corner and tell you what can't be done and bark at you about what I'm telling you, who's being a sucker? You have to push these financial professionals to improve themselves, improve upon their weaknesses. You have to get the best out of them and make them understand they have to go the extra mile. They have to go the extra distance. They have to. Do not take no for an answer. Now, I'm going to be looking around and seeing how things are going. I'm hoping my information and what I'm telling you all doesn't fall on deaf ears. But you have to understand, folks, I'm a financial professional, and I can beat up on those guys with the licenses because that's a family thing. It's just like your brother, your sister, your mother and father and whatever. But when we argue, and it's a whole different story if somebody else yells at your sister or your mother. But family is going to have quarrels. But someone else, they better not say anything that's nowhere near as bad as what you might say, because it's family. And that's the way it is now. A lot of you guys are a little out of line, and you're going a little too far with this Wall Street thing. Now, I'm formulating some simple ways we can referee and dispose of those dinosaurs I spoke to you about, and to referee and get a lot of this scum out of the system. And also to referee the self-inflictors, because we have to deal with you all too. But understand, I can't do much. I can do very, very little. You all are gonna have to, a lot of you all are gonna have to do the right thing on your own. You're gonna have to do the right thing on your own. But don't have me to come up with any sort of program, and I'm thinking I may have to, and I don't know how it's gonna go, but whatever happens, financial professionals and customers that find themselves caught up in my net, it will not be a comforting experience. You're going to have to grow up and you have to do some soul searching. I'm not going to go easy. We got to all grow up. We have to step it up. Now it's time. Now, right now, I'm being benevolent, but I may have to go into enforcement mode I don't want to do that. So please, take to heart what I'm saying. Find the place you need for help. Encourage your financial professionals to step up. They have to. Again, don't take no for an answer. Do your homework. And understand there are a lot of things that you're doing that may be causing the problem. But I'm here to help you and guide you. So at this point, if you need help, seek us out. And we can do the things necessary to maybe help you and your financial professional stay on track. But if you feel like you're smart and you can handle it, later on if you get hurt and you complain, that's a problem. That is a problem. Because now you're disturbing the peace. And we need to get back to peace, and we need to get things back to a reasonable degree of normalcy. So again, please find the help. God bless.